Good morning, everyone. The time is now 10 a.m. Welcome to the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council. Happy New Year to all. Hope they're staying inside nice and warm and toasty. Glad to see everyone here. And I'm going to remind everyone as you're coming in, please mute your microphones, please. That's why we have to follow housekeeping rule procedure, which is very important, so it does not interrupt any sounds. Now, I am going to start with the housekeeping rules, and then I'm going to remind everyone. First of all, welcome. This is the agenda for today. Please note the agenda may change unless it's by order by the chair of the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council chairperson at this time. The housekeeping rules is very simple. Everyone's microphone should be muted. Please remind you that the transcript is on. We do have caption available if it's necessary. We do need to remind that one at a time must speak, not 3 or 4 people. Please do not interrupt when another speaker is speaking. And please do not unmute unless you raise your hand or put your comment into the chat. We have to remind be fair to everyone. One at a time is very simple and should be not hard to enter the meeting, and everyone can hear you. At this time also, you can put your announcements into the chat. You can please put your name into the chat. We will be asking all agencies, if you have service openings, please do that as well. The chat is very simple, as well as hand raise. The hand raise is located with the smiley face with a plus button, which will put the hands up. So we know who's going first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. As a reminder, it is important to please announce any service openings, trainings, events, or anything you like us to make sure we put it onto the website. It is very important that we share that information. Inside the More button does have the caption if you need it. And please note the caption does translate to different languages as well. If you are having a trouble with that, please let me know in the chat box and I will do that as well. So before I do the announcements, let's welcome Ms. Greif, the chair of the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council. Ms. Greif.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. We are looking forward to a new year. We're going to work together to help us families get the help and services they need for their loved ones to keep them home as long as possible. There will be more discussions on budget and other items, but for now, I'm just welcoming everybody that came. I thank you. And as Christopher said, we will be starting with announcements. Please raise your hand, where it says reactions. Please raise your hand and wait to be called on. With that, Christopher, I'm going to now turn it back to Christopher so he can call on everybody who has announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Greif. At this time, I'm going to ask any agencies who have service openings, please raise your hand so I can see whose hands are up at this time. And let me remind you, hand is a very important time. We'll start with CARES. Miss Perry, you can go. You're got to be unmuted.
Hi, sorry about that. Good morning. This is Pearl from CARES. How are you today? Well, I just wanted to remind everyone that CARES has a family reimbursement. We are accepting applications for family reimbursement. We also have free evaluations that are available for individuals who do not have OPWDD eligibility in New York. And I just want to say I've been trying to write in the chat, but the chat box keeps spinning. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. It's not linking correctly. So that's a technical thing I don't know how to fix. But if anybody needs to reach out, once I can get access to the chat, I'm Pearl Rats at CARES. So it's PRATS at CARES, CARESNYS.org. And once I have access to the chat, I'll gladly add that as well.
To answer your question, that's not our end. It might be your end because we are receiving chats from other people, other parents, other agencies. It might be your end. As a reminder, we don't control the outside. We only control the inside. And right now, all systems are fine.
Okay, I'll try. And it
Yeah.
was, I mean, I'm able to be on the Zoom, so that the link, so it tells me that I'm able to access it. I'm not sure.
Hi, Pearl. This is Deborah Greif. You're
Hi.
on Ring Central. We're not doing Zoom.
I understand. So on Ring Central, I still should be able, if I'm in the program, I
Good.
should be able
Okay,
to
but-
access it.
You did. This meeting also is recorded. So they did get your email. Again, if you want to repeat it one more time, I suggest that. So, because that way, this way, and also leave a phone number that they can call for CARES, because your services are very important. Thank you.
Deborah.
You're welcome.
My email again is P as in Peter, R as in Robert, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, Z as in Zebra, P Rats at CARES, CARES, NYS, like New York State.org. And our phone number is 212-420-1970, and I'm extension 123. Hope that's helpful. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome, and thank you. Appreciate that you're here.
Thank
All
you.
right, Christopher.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. That's what I'm checking right now. At this moment, no one has raised their hand, but I will go in order. Jackie, Jackie T, do you have an announcement?
Hi, good morning. I'm Jackie Tripodi. The New York State Institute of Disability has reimbursement services. We also have available tickets, evaluations, and transportation in Brooklyn. If you have any questions, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat. And I hope everybody stays nice and warm.
Thank you, Jackie. Goodwill. I just saw Goodwill, but oh, they just disappeared. Okay. Let me get to EHAB Sandy Moore from EHAB Human Services.
Hi, yes, how are you? Good morning. So currently in Brooklyn, we have vacancies in our site-based day program. We also have vacancies in our PWW that we recently just launched. We offer community habitation services, respite services, and that's after school program for the little kiddos, and we also offer recreational Saturdays.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you, Goodwill. Let me just check. Lucina Clark from My Time Inc. Lucina, you're muted, and I see you're having a little Wi-Fi issue where you are. So,
okay, good. Are you hearing me now?
yes, the whole world can hear
Good
you.
morning, everyone. Happy
Yes, I can hear
New
you. Good morning.
Year. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you, Lucina. Just somebody was just saying they can hear you.
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Deborah.
Good morning, everyone. Happy of the new year to each and every one of you. As good greetings also from being the co-chair of the Legislative Committee with Miss Maria Willis. So we thank you so much for everyone who has been participating for the last year. We are having in March our legislative, unfortunately, virtual legislative brunch meeting, but you'll have your cup of coffee and your bagel with you while we do that meeting. So it'll be like virtual with your breakfast. So there's more details coming on. We'll know. Please check your emails. Chris sends out a lot of emails, a lot of information. So do Brian from the council. So we are just excited. Hopefully by next year we can have our face-to-face legislative brunch, because I think that is just as effective. So we're looking for, I know we're having a meeting this week to have more details going going on. So what's going to be happening for legislative? But again, as a parent, your role and responsibility in making sure your legislatives hear what you want. Visit them, give them a call, email them. Just introduce yourself that I'm a parent of a wonderful young man who is on the spectrum. And sometimes you have to explain that to them. Whether your child is intellectually disabled, whether your child is disabled, whatever disability the child is, just give a little brief introduction of who your child is and the disability, because unfortunately, even though we have our legislators, they think all disabilities are the same. Some of them do. So you as a parent have to inform them. So say hello. We're going to have some more wonderful workshops. The last time we had one with Carrie at the library with Chris and Debbie. It was awesome. We're going to have some more of that type of workshop. So I want to thank you so much. According to Debbie, we are here to work together. So you, your parents, remember we have a new regime in. So you need to be more advocative in the things you need. So thank you again so much. Thank you, Chris and Deborah, for having this platform that we all can share information and empower. And I'm always sending out emails to our parents. Denise, make sure she sends out to our parents that this council meeting is so important so they can know where the openings are and what they can do to support. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you. And yes, Chris, I'm working from home. It's really freezing. I'm working from home as well as I'm listening. So thank
This
you
is
all. So
Deborah.
again, we have our legislative meetings coming up. Please join us. We're always looking for fresh ideas and new input. Thank you.
Lucina, let's announce, Christopher, give the, we're having a legislative meeting this Thursday. I believe it's
Yes.
12:30, and it will be on Ring Central. Please join us.
Actually, it will be shown on Brian's report, but thanks to Lucina,
Excellent. Thank you.
it will remind again. Thank you, Lucina.
You are
We
more
did,
than welcome.
Thank you.
just so everyone know, we did get a couple more agencies that just popped in. Just want to make sure that because we're up to announcements. I think Ian too. Janet, you just pulled in.
Thank you so much, everyone.
You're welcome, Lucina. Eden 2,
Eden-
are you there? Hi, Eden 2, are you there? Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't find my button. Did you call on me?
Yes.
Yes, you have an announcement?
Yes, we have I'm sorry. That's my video. I'm sorry. I'm not that used to this platform, so I couldn't find the buttons.
It's the same program as
Yes,
Zoom.
it's just it comes up very weird on my screen always. So it's the buttons are like all over the place. But hi, good morning. Yes, we have openings for our evaluation program for those individuals in Brooklyn. The only requirement is that the person cannot currently be enrolled in Medicaid. And we do have openings for our crisis respite program, individuals who are not self-directing. I will put the contact information in the chat.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Does anyone else have any announcements before I proceed? As I do see a lot of things moving up and down on my screen. Just want to clarify. Goodwill was here. They put their announcement into the chat, so I want to know that, please. At this time right now, if no one else has an announcement, I'm going to move on to the Brooklyn DD Council. Brian Rothstein, because he has some updates too. Brian, Chair of the Brooklyn DD Council, who's here. Brian, how are you? Good morning.
Everyone. So as Chris said, I'm Brian Rothenstein, Chair of the DD Council, also CEO at Heaven's Hands Community Services. Just a few brief announcements. So the biggest one, as Lucina mentioned already, on March 6th, we will be hosting the 5-borough virtual legislative breakfast. The annual event, it'll be held via Zoom. Seems to be the preferred mode these days since the pandemic. If you are on the Brooklyn Council mailing list, an email went out with how to register. Chris has it on the screen. It's also on the Brooklyn Council website, bkddcouncil.org. So please make sure to get in and register. You will not be able to attend virtually without registering in advance. In addition to that, as they also mentioned, this Thursday will be a special legislative committee meeting for the Brooklyn Council, and really is a follow-up from Governor Hochul's State of the State. And today she will be speaking and giving a budget briefing at 1 o'clock. So it'll basically be a summation of all of that and to start conversation and where do we go from there. In addition to that, next Monday, the 27th, is the Brooklyn Council monthly meeting. Again, on our website, you can find a link under calendar. All the meetings I talk about, you can go to our website, bkddcouncil.org, and all the links and sign-in information will be on our calendar. Meaningful Day Committee, which is a combination of a few committees for the Brooklyn Council. Their next meeting is February 6th, also via Zoom at 4 o'clock. And what is the Meaningful Day Committee? It is transition services, work, employment, just what is a meaningful day for people we support. So it's basically everything after school, after the transition out of the Board of Ed. What am I leaving out, Chris? Oh, I sent out an email this morning to anyone on the council. Winnie from IAC is graciously doing 2 presentations for all of the New York City 5 borough councils on budget briefings. IAC does a great job at breaking down the governor's budget every year, and to have the same message and to be able to hit the most amount of people, Winnie is hosting 2 meetings, February 7th at 10 a.m. via Zoom and February 14th at 12 p.m. via Zoom. You should have received the link probably in an email an hour ago from me, but again, it's on our website. So those dates are February 7th and February 14th, both Fridays. Should last about an hour via Zoom, and it's the Winnie breaking down the budget and how it impacts our population and the work we do. And I believe that is it for my updates.
Thank you, Brian. This is Chris. I just put in the chat the budget information, so if anyone has questions about it, this is what they have at this time, but this could be changed in the next couple of hours. I did get an answer like 30 minutes ago. This can be changed. So as Brian said, it's best if you attend the budget meeting on all 3 of them. It is important to let the families know this, and agency, you should be sharing this to your families who are advocacy groups. I know My Time does that. I know Ian2 does that, as well as EHAB, and I know other agencies do that as well. Does anyone have any questions for Brian, the chair of the DD Council?
And just real quick, and I quickly said it, but the governor is doing a budget briefing at 1 p.m. today. And I believe if you go to ny.gov and go to their YouTube, it'll be available for anyone that wishes to listen in.
Thank you, Brian. Does anyone have any questions for Brian for the DD Council? No, I'm just getting... Okay, seems Brian, no one has any questions for you today. I think everyone got all that good stuff I put up on the screen.
You did a great job with that. Thanks, Chris.
Welcome. Hey, gotta share the love of outreach. Okay, thank you, Brian. And now we'll move on to the Brooklyn DDRO. And I know I saw Miss Hunt, the famous Miss Hunt, if she's here, because I see her name right here.
Good morning, I'm here.
Okay. Oh, you're hiding from me. Oh, I can see you now. I see you. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry. It's just that I have 2 screens.
Understood. Morning, everybody. I just have a few updates, statewide updates. The first is about the More Than Work campaign. The statewide direct support professional recruitment campaign continues in March. OPWDD and our service provider agency partners launched a statewide direct support professional recruitment campaign called More Than Work. The joint effort provides a central user-friendly hub for job seekers to find rewarding opportunities in our field and will help strengthen and grow the ranks of the direct support workforce. The campaign goals are to educate the public, in particular the job-seeking public, about the importance and fulfilling nature of direct support work, and to connect potential job candidates to opportunities supporting New Yorkers with developmental disabilities. More Than Work is now visible throughout our communities with TV and radio advertisements and on social and digital media. I know I've seen the advertisements on television, both on the networks and on cable channels. I've also seen advertisements in the subways, both in English and Spanish. In August, the More Than Work campaign released to all developmental disability service providers a comprehensive recruitment toolkit intended to help providers enhance their recruitment activities. The toolkit is available at the campaign website. Any service providers that have not yet joined the campaign are invited to do so by emailing the OPWDD Communications Office. I'll put that address in the chat, but it's communications.office@opwdd.ny.gov. There's also a link that is a non-governmental website for the direct support careers. I'll put that link in the chat as well. And the second thing I want to discuss this morning is the Choices migration. In early 2023, Microsoft informed OPWDD and ITS that they would no longer be supporting the platform that Choices was built on, and encouraged us to migrate to the online version. So we hired a Microsoft certified provider, Prutech, to help ITS migrate the app to the cloud. In late 2023, early 2024, when all the licensing contracts and systems were ready, ITS, Prutech, Microsoft, and OPWDD began the move to the new cloud infrastructure. Testing began in September and continues into January. One result of the upgrade is the multi-factor authentication, which will require users to not only have a password, but also use a numeric code for added security. The screens have a fresher look and some of the menus have moved. All of this is documented in the user manual. The new platform will allow us to build more functionality into Choices, provide better resilience, and have quicker response times. And I know the big question is, when will this be happening? I do not have a date as of this time, but stay tuned. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I do.
Chairperson Ms. Greif, go ahead.
First, Siobhan, thank you very much for giving those updates. I'm just, I'm a little concerned because I would like to see our the direct care professionals be paid more, because it's even though you say it's rewarding, it's still it's not an easy job. So I hope that we can work together to get them to understand the importance, and also to see that they're paid a really good salary.
Of course.
You know, so that's one of my big concerns. My other concerns are, well, as of course, I'm not going to go into full details. We were going to find out what's going on with the OPWDD budget. As you know, the advisory council will be advocating for it. The statewide, as you know, we have our exec meetings every month to make sure that we keep everything updated. And we're also trying to make sure that the ADM reimbursement committee, which I chair, we just want to make sure that families and providers and care managers understand the right way to fill out the forms. Mm-hmm. So just want to be aware that we're working just to make to make sure the agencies can and the families can get the funding they really need. So just letting you know that we're still working on this. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Does anybody else have a question? Siobhan, is there anything else you want to say to me, or because I just, as you know, that's one of the big important things we are also doing on the statewide advisory.
Of course, understood.
Understood. Thank you very much, though, for being here this morning. Does anybody else have a question? Or-
Yes, we do. Brian Rothstein's hand is up.
Not really a question. Thank you, Siobhan, for the update. I just wanted to add on when you were talking about choices for agencies not aware or that didn't sign up. I believe tomorrow is the January DQI update, and there's supposed to be a choices demonstration of the changes. So just to add on to what you were talking about choices for any providers on the call, you will get to see some of the changes at tomorrow's meeting.
Thank you, Brian. If I can find information on that, I'll share it before the end of the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Pearl, you had your mic on and off. Do you have a question for?
No, I'm sorry, my system froze and, no, it was technical. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, not a problem. Does anyone else have a question for Ms. Hunt from OPWDD? Okay, seems no one. It seems no one has any questions for you today, which
Okay.
that sounds like a good sign. But just to let
Thank
everyone
you.
know, if you think of a question for her, please put it into the chat. Before I proceed,
And
Angela,
there is one more thing I would like to add before we call on anyone else.
I was just going to
If
call.
let me finish the statement. I also that if you think of the question after the meeting, send it to us at our email, as you know, the bfssac@yahoo.com, and we will forward it to Ms. Hunt. Thank you. Now call on who you have to.
I was just going to say, Angela Blaze, do you have any updates also from you like to add or share? I guess not. Okay, thank you, Angela. At this moment in time, we'll just move on to our agenda. Since we do have a good agenda today,
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Chris. I couldn't get the mic to come back on. My apologies.
It's okay.
Again, I'm Angela Blades. I'm the Family Support Coordinator for Brooklyn. So if you have any questions or issues, I put my information in the chat. Presently, we are still reviewing the various agencies, which means we set up a Zoom or a Teams meeting and go over their last year's applications and stuff like that. We still have a few more agencies that we have to do, but we're halfway through. We have the assistance of the Family Support Advisory Council when needed. They attend the meetings, so we go over everything. If you have any changes that you want to make to your contracts, please email them in to myself or to Denise Alton as soon as possible so that we can make sure that your contracts are accurate. I think that's about it for now. Thank you all, and I hope you all had a great New Year's.
Yes, and
Thank you, Angela. It's Deborah thanking you too.
Angela, this is Chris. I'm also saying thank you. And just want to share, as Ms. Hunt just put in two things into the chat, everyone. Angela's information is also in the chat as well. Remind everyone, please make sure you save the chat. It's very simple. There is on the top, there is a arrow pointing down with a capital A. Once you click on that area, you can click on down the chat and then it will download once you leave the meeting. Then you'll get all the nook and crannies you need on that. And thank you, OPWDD, because if I say all the names, we'll be here until next year on that as well. But I just want to be clear one more time. Does anyone else has any questions for them? They must have did a fantastic job because we're on a roll. Okay. Let me move on to outreach report, which is me, yours truly, as you already know who I am already. The Brooklyn Advisory Council outreach, just so everyone know, this is important because some of you have been asking me questions here. As you know, some of you may got your Omni card, reduced fare Omni cards already in the mail. That's good. If you have a reduced fare Metro card that's going to expire anytime from now to next year, use it. Don't go to reduced fare asking to switch cards from the reduced fare and Omni card. Drain the Metro card until it's completely empty. Once you do that, you can go to omni.info and register your email account and make sure the card is linked to your omni.info account. I want to make that very clear to everyone. It is simple. It is not that hard. Instead of you recharging at train stations, you can do it on the computer, like right here on the screen, or at libraries, CVS, Walgreens, check cashing stores, and some pharmacies. We're seeing more stores adding in. If I mentioned all the stores, we'll be here until 4 years from now. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to move on from there. So just to let everyone know, the reduced fare Omni cards for seniors and people with disability should be in the mail. If you have not gotten in this month of January until the end of January, please let MTA reduced fare know. Call 511 or put in an MTA complaint on the My MTA website complaint. Now, if somebody has been having trouble getting to do an Omni reduced fare presentation, please email accessibility@mtahq.org, CC me, and I will make sure that it goes through. Please note, do not give us a week notice. It must be at least 3 to 4 weeks notice. Therefore, everyone will see where they're going to be located. They have been located with us at our resource fairs. The last one we did at Kings Bay, we did a really good job. We'll see what happens in the next few months as well. As a reminder, please have patience and courtesy. Your Metro card can still be used today. Your Metro card will still be available, even present, until the expired date. Until they say Metro cards will be turned off, you will be notified. Don't stress yourself. All I'm going to remind everyone, the presentation is available. You can visit the website. You can always look at the videos, and we should know because the video does show Omni Woman has returned, which you all know who she is. She's the chair of the advisory council. Okay. Now, as you know, we've been doing really, really, really well with our outreaches. I want to thank, and Lucina, you don't need to take a picture of me because I know I'm still handsome. And just to let you know, not all the cameras work on this thing. Resource Fair is still going on very strongly. For the last few months, our attendance has been coming up. We do remind everyone that not every spot may be available. The spots could be full. Some spots are small. Some spots are medium. There are some spots that are very big that I'm flooding the agencies. Not just us, but outside agencies as well. So I just want everyone to know this information is also on our website. As you know, February 7th is our next one. We're going back to Greenpoint by popular demands. And just to let everyone know, that one is full. So full that I took the recommendation ideas from who's hiding under the screen, Brian Rothstein's and Lucina Clark, to get more agencies. Well, I did. So just let everyone know, it is higher. That one will have a lot of agencies. We already filled up. We might have some other special guest stars joining with us on that day, but I will say, let's see what happens. I am encouraging everyone that the leaflet has gone out with the Brooklyn Public Library. The leaflet will be available on our website. I think I already put it up. If I didn't, then I'll be doing it this week. Getting a lot of things updated on our website, which Ms. Greif will be mentioning later on. We have something new on our website that we linked it with the OPWDD and some other parts of our website, so it is available. But the next resource fair is February 7th. Then we travel to East New York, to the east, not far from the DDRO, which is at 665 New Lots Avenue, right around the corner of the New Lots train station. But accessibility is the L train. So that's all you can see from there. If I mention it, we'll be here till next year. Now, April and May, we are going to be traveling again, this time back to not far from South Brooklyn, almost into Docker Heights, Bay Ridge, Fall Hamilton area, which we will be at the McKinsey Library on April 4th. Then May 2nd, we're going to Ivan Branch, which you all should know that's right outside of Ridgewood, Bushwick, Brooklyn. So we remind everyone that May 2nd will be there. We are not doing one in June, which Brian will agree with me is where we do the Family Support Fair. July, we'll be doing one. I don't have the date at this time because we're in January. That's 7 months away. I don't think we need to push the year yet. But more details and more information will come available on there as well. Now, I'm going to remind everyone, as you saw me earlier putting on an announcements, please make sure you visit our website. Make sure you visit the DD Council's website. All our schedules are there. It goes right to the schedule, thanks to the Brooklyn DD Council, Brian Rothstein. The calendar is there when it has meetings. It has even the meetings when we have our meeting, when DD Council meets, their subcommittees, the Legislative Committee, which they're having theirs this coming Thursday, as Brian mentioned, Lucina mentioned it. At least it's getting everyone wake up and feel the heat, feel the warm weather today. We're nice and toasty in our house. That's all I have at this time. I'm going to ask if anyone has any questions, concerns. And before we go to our report, I do see Nina is here. Nina, do you have something you want to add in?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Do you hear me?
Nina, the whole world can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. My sound wasn't. I did not hear very well you, Chris, but I'm here. I know that Siobhan is here as well, and she gave a couple of the updates.
Excellent.
One thing that I can say this morning that we had our meeting with the FSS team this morning, and we have a few updates. Central office is working on a process and a guidance on a policy how to standardize the site visits and site reviews, and they are working on a template so we can have a clear process, right? What needs to be assessed during the contract reviews. They also are working on a family satisfaction survey, and hopefully we will see that template in coming months. In the last FSS meeting, there was a request to have the Q&A questions document to be translated in various languages. So that was completed. I'm not sure if that information is uploaded on our OPWDD website, but it was Q&A questions, and the translations were done. There is also training that is available and should be on the OPWDD website or on the SLMS webpage. OPWDD is also working on CDPEP requirements for the eligibility, so we are preparing the response. It should be coming out soon. Families are eligible for reimbursement and for goods and services. There would be some exceptions, but it's we'll see when the official message is out. Central office is also reviewing the FSS tracker, right? We collected the feedback from the providers, right? We work internally. The feedback was incorporated in the spreadsheets. It's in the final review, and hopefully it will be released soon. Also, in a final stage is the FSS RFP. They are finalizing and the template, and once it's out, this is going to go to a sub-state statewide committee for the review before the official release. So we have all priorities that are put together, right? And this is going to be added to the template once it's finalized and reviewed by subcommittee. The last one would be the updates on the $3,000 local council allocation policy guidance. It's also being finalized, and we're going to have some trainings. I believe, I'm not sure if internal or external trainings, but the policy will be coming out soon as well, right? And I can also quickly mention that as you probably aware, last month, OPWDD announced ombudsman program for people with developmental disability. This independent program will be was awarded to Community Service Society of New York State, and a Community Service Society will be operating the Ombudsman program. They bring decades of experience in consumer advocacy and oversight of several and other New York State ombudsman programs in our state, including Independent Consumer Advocacy Network, known as ICANN, for people with Medicaid who need long-term care or behavioral health issues. Also, the Community Health Access to Addiction and Mental Health Care Project, known as CHAMP. And they're helping people access treatment and insurance coverage for substance use and mental health treatment, and the FIDA IDD program, among others. The IDD Ombudsman program will operate statewide and provide individualized support to people who experience challenges in accessing, using, or interacting with OPWDD delivery system. This includes issues related to OPWDD eligibility and authorization, as well as services and supports provided by nonprofit agencies, CCOs, and others. The IDD Ombudsman program will operate a toll-free hotline. I can share the number in the chat. And they will be, they open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. People who are calling will receive support from trained staff who will provide information, assist in gathering and completing paperwork, will assist in filing complaints if needed, and supporting people or families in navigating the system to resolve complaints. In addition to the phone line, you can also reach out to them by the email, and I will provide that in the chat. People with developmental disabilities and their families should continue to work with their care managers and CCOs when it comes to service access and coordination. So the Ombudsman program does not replace responsibilities of the care managers and CCOs. The Ombuds is not meant to replace the current mechanism for accessing services, right? But it's meant to provide an avenue for resolving issues and complaints when existing mechanisms have not produced a resolution. The Ombudsman program is also not intended to replace the critical function of New York State Justice Center for the Protection for People with Special Needs. Reports for suspected abuse and injustice must be still reported to the Justice Center. And once someone connects with the IDD Ombudsman program, they have access to trained case handlers who will collect information about their concerns and will work to help resolve issues. They will provide information on and education about the rights to services, help to navigate programs through referrals and outreach, and support people if they choose to file a complaint or pursue an appeal or dispute resolution. So this program allows you to stay confidential if you prefer so, and only if you allow the Ombudsman program to work on behalf of you, they can do so. So I think that's it for me for today with the updates.
Debbie, Chair of the Advisory Council, then Brian Rothstein, Chair of the DD Council.
Good morning, Nina. I want you to be aware, and I'm making this announcement now, that the statewide, okay, Mary McGuire Weaver, co-chair in Manhattan, we're going to be having on February 6th from 10 to 11:30 on Zoom. We're going to have a presentation on the new statewide ombudsman program. It'll be from 10 to 11:30. And yes, I'm aware very much of the Community Service Society of New York. I do know the one who runs it, David Jones. He's been a longtime advocate, very understanding of different forms of disabilities, whether developmental or other. And our presenters are going to be Flora and Rachel Schumann. So we do have, it is on the website, and we do have the phone numbers if you need, and we have a registration link for Zoom, because we're very excited about this new program. And yes, we do know it is not to replace any other program, but it's to assist you when you need an understanding, or if you need advocacy help. So thank you for mentioning that. And yes, the Manhattan, we're going to be joining. So this is going to replace the February meeting for the advisory. For this reason, our meeting will be during the school break, and we normally don't get a big attendance. So this will be on Thursday, February 6th. So we're really happy about that. So I'm glad that you made the announcement too, because this is a big help. So thank you so much, Nina, and I'm glad you were able to make it. Brian,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to add on to Nina's report about the ombudsman program. Next Monday at the council meeting, there's going to be a full presentation from someone from the program at the Brooklyn Council meeting. They had called us to schedule it to clear up some misconceptions about it, or just give more details and information and provide contacts and things like that. So again, that's next Monday's meeting, the 27th. We'll have a full presentation.
That's great. Thank you.
It sounds to me Brooklyn is ready, Nina. You just got your now you can start bragging upstate, saying Brooklyn's already cooking up the storm. Since it's cold outside, I got to think of hot things like 97 degrees. Nina, just to clarify also, this information is also, I just put it on the screen, which I'll re-show it again where Ms. Greif does her report. Just to let you know, Nina, the information you have already seen in the other boroughs, just to clarify, because somebody asked me this question in the chat, the Omni Reduced Fare card is, once you get the card in the mail, you don't need to start it up immediately. All you have to do is make sure that your reduced fare Metro card is completely drained out. If it says it's going to expire at the end of this month, then you really need to drain it. But if you have until to the end of this year of 2025, you have time to use it. I'm going to remind that very clearly. It is very difficult to switch from a Metro card to an Omni card, because the Omni card is a little more powerful and the technology is more up to date than a Metro card. So I want to be very clear to everyone on that question I saw in the chat. So I want to be very clear. Does anyone else have a question for Nina or the outreach report? And you think about it, Nina's actually, her report is part of like outreach. Came in the perfect timing. Doesn't make it clear. The advisory council exec members, Sandy, Lori, and I know Sharon had to run, but do you guys have any questions for the exec for Nina? I guess not. Madam Chair, there is no one else has any questions, and there's no other questions in the chat.
Okay, I'm going to start with my report. Thank you, Nina. I really appreciate that you're here too. I do appreciate, because I'm glad we are working together. All right, I want the parent members of the advisory council, especially exec, we will be updating the COI standing for conflict of interest so that when we do our site visits, and yes, I know we'll be getting updated training soon, as well if we sit on RFP committees, we have to make sure that we don't have any vested interest in the actual agency. So I will be meeting with my parents, and we will be the exec board specially to do the COIs. Next thing to know, as you know, you heard this Monday, yes, the Ombudsman program will be making a presentation at the Brooklyn DD Council, and the multi-borough, we've agreed, so this is not just Brooklyn, it's Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, and Staten Island, and whoever parents we can get from the Queens DD Council will be there, so that we can even ask more questions if you're not sure, because I know they're going to be agreeing to do a lot of presentations within the 5 boroughs because of the parents are going to have questions, and it's better for the people who are working for this program to answer the questions. I know what an ombudsman program is, and I know the services. They are very helpful when you do need help, but I'm going to let them do all of the explanations, and we will work to make sure we have all our COIs filled out with that. The other issue, things that we are bringing up is we know that we're going to wait for the RFPs to come out, and then we will, my parents will sit on the RFPs if they can. There is also, as I said, remember, please put this on your calendar. We are not having a meeting in February, only the one for Thursday, February 6th. This will be on both the Advisory Council's website and also the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council. The Brooklyn DD Council's website. This is very, very important. Also, as you see, Christopher put this out. I appreciate that he helped me find this, and we put it on, and we want everybody to be aware of how to use this new service. Also, if families are still having trouble with the reimbursement program, please contact me, Deborah Gripe. I'm talking about the advocacy piece. If you have questions about what's acceptable or not, you do contact Angela Blades, our family support coordinator. But I'm as the chairperson of the subcommittee for the statewide for the ADM reimbursement. I do need to know if there are problems or anything. So just let me know by email. Now let's see. Is there anything else? Yep. First of all, please be aware that when you get the Omni card, yes, if you need help understanding, email Christopher. He will try to help you as best as he can. Also, I want everybody to know that I hope you can try to make many of the different committee meetings for the Brooklyn DD Council. It is extremely important that we have these committees, and we do need parent and people to be there to share with us. We do need help, and it's also very important. Also, please come this Thursday to the Legislative Committee. It'll start around 12, and because we need to, as I said, make sure that we let the legislators know. Yes, it's great if you go up to Albany, but you don't have to always go to Albany. It's important to know, like you want to make sure that the direct care staff are being paid correctly. You want to make sure that our family support programs are funded correctly. You want to see OPWDD funded appropriately so services can continue. So we appreciate if you can make it this Thursday, January 23rd. Before I do anything, does anyone have any questions for me? Does anybody have any questions, Chris?
Not at this time, but we need to focus on the goals for 2025.
I'm totally aware of that.
No, the
One
reason I'm saying the goals and things is as there are parents on here, there are some agencies. We know we've seen the budget and those missions, but we do want to hear from families or agencies who are here. What goals do you think needs to be brought to our attention as well? This is another reason we need to hear that too.
That's true. And parents who are trying to say, wow, there's all this stuff. Yeah, the advisory council's roles are to be, we're the parent arm of OPWDD. We're not paid, we're volunteers. Our role is to help our local DDRO, Developmental Disability Regional Office in Brooklyn. We let them know. There are I'm one of 19 councils. Our role is to make sure OPWDD knows in the local area what families, what programs are working and what's not. Yes, we do sit on site visits, but we also, if you happen to be on the board of directors, there may be a conflict of interest. Also, I want everybody to know that there'll be more discussion about CDPAP in a month or so, but CDPAP families can apply for reimbursement, but not until it's fully announced, because they will give us the guidelines on how that will be done. Also, for the RFPs, our statewide council did surveys, and the number one was housing, and then the second one was the part of housing where you make adaptive. So like an agency, like you need a ramp to get in and out of your house. You need to have help putting in special bars to the toilet or special chairs. Well, that's that's number 2 goal. We only have one agency and the waiting list is outrageous. Third is behavior modification. But if we have to add any others, we will be informed by the Brooklyn Development Disability Regional Office in Central, which is up in Albany. But I also want to make sure everybody is aware that Thursday, March 6th, is the 5-borough legislative virtual breakfast. Please, if Chris put in the links, as well as Brian, on both websites, please sign up to be there. They need to see, we will get elected officials from each of the boroughs, but they need to see that we are participating. We will also work to make sure, help you with information to bring to the local elected officials in Brooklyn. That could be all right, since our programs are funded mostly by state dollars. That would be your state assembly and state senator. But it's to save and conserve money. Many legislators, that includes the city council, share offices with their assembly, state senate, as well as Congress. So when we check, we will be working as a team with Lucina Clark. We will let you know, so you'll see that if we have to give you extra information, so you can give it to each of the staff of the elected officials who are using that office. So this way they'll know. If you're having events, invite them. Seriously, invite them. They need to see. They need to be included. If you can't get the actual legislator, getting the staff person is just as important, because they need to see how our programs are working so we can keep them funded. So with that, I really don't have much more to say. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up? Any issues? Please let me know.
Madam Chair, just to let you know, as Brian can back me up, he just put out an email, and I just put it into the chat. The government.gov budget brief that will start later in a little bit. Actually later this afternoon at 3 o'clock. But just to everyone know to please make sure you get that link and please study the budget brief. This not just affects all of us, it affects everything from healthcare, transportation, hospitals, day have programs. We just need to make sure that our programs are being notified, and we need to make sure
Funded correctly.
funding correctly and getting the funded done. Brian, I know you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yeah, I
Brian.
just wanted to say, so at 1 o'clock, it's a presentation by the governor, Kathy Hochul. And then at 3 o'clock is going to be a technical budget briefing by the Division of Budget Director, Blake Washington. All of that can be seen if you go to governor.ny.gov.
I'll be seeing that. And I hope everybody else who can, please go on that link. You sent the link to us in the chat, right, Brian?
I did.
Okay. Whoever did, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We
That would be me.
appreciate it. We do appreciate this very much because we need to know what program, what funding. And also, we need to make sure also our healthcare needs are being met because our children with developmental disabilities have special needs and they need specialized care. So we need to see that too. We also need to make sure that our families who need the reduced fare, whether it's the new Omni card, we need that. As you see, we are trying to work very hard to, as that's why the other boroughs, we are working together to make sure, because this new program for Ombudsperson program is statewide. But we need to make sure that we understand how to use this program. It is a very important program. Does anybody else have any questions or announcements?
There is a question in the chat. Brian, thank you for putting it into the chat as well. This is a private question, but the person does not want to use his name, but this is a question from Brian. And I know this is going to be a silly question. Somebody's asking about, is there going to be a family support fair committee?
I'll let you handle that, Brian.
I did say this is a Brian question.
For the Brooklyn Council Support Fair in June.
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
Usually the committee is made up of chairs and officers from the council, but if anyone else is willing to help out and be a part of it, just email me. We're the more hands, the better. It's a big project when we take that on for June. So anyone willing to help, we're all open to getting support.
Yes, it is a very important event. It's like, because the other boroughs are doing it. Queens does theirs in the fall. Manhattan and the Bronx and Staten Island are going to do theirs in the spring. And technically, we're at the border of spring and summer. But we do need help. And we do need assistance. And we appreciate anybody that can help us. Because last year, everybody was so happy that we were back. Even Brooklyn College was ecstatic. So we do need to get this program out. Also, remember in July will be the 35th year anniversary of the American with Disabilities Act, which was a big groundbreaking. So that means we, persons who are family members of children or persons with disabilities, or you yourself have disabilities, it's nice that there's laws in hand, and we need to make sure those laws stay intact to help us. So if you're interested, please keep up with us and work with us. Does anybody else have any questions, concerns?
We do have a hand up, Sandy Naper.
Yes, Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Are you able to unmute, dear? Hi.
Here I am. Here I am.
Hi.
Can I
Okay.
make is it time for announcements? I had to step away for a second.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, make an announcement. It's fine, man.
Go ahead, Sandy, because announcements were always in the beginning of our meetings, but go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm going to mute. So
Okay, I just wanted to let everyone know that ADAPT is having a free webinar in 2 days on Thursday. We're going to have members of the New York City Department of Education talk about some specialized programs such as SEED, ACES, which is Academic Career Essential Skills. They're going to be talking about bilingual speech education. And they're also going to be talking about the sensory education, exploration, and discovery program. So these are very important programs, and I know that many parents may be interested in learning about them, so that we hope you'll join us on Thursday, January 23rd, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And I'm going to send the flyer to Chris, and so that he can have it on the website. And I think, Brian, you will be getting that also shortly. Then we have another very interesting webinar coming up January 30th. That's also a Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And that we're going to have Gary Schulman talk about summer options. And you know, if anybody knows Gary, he knows all about the summer programs for people with disabilities. And that will prepare you to ask questions at the fair that Include NYC is going to have on February 1st. So I hope you'll join us for both. And again, I will send that flyer to Chris so you can see it on the website. Thank you very much. And if one more thing, if you want to register, email Family Connect at Adapt Community Network, and we will send you the link to register. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Appreciate it very much. Glad you were able to be here and give those important announcements.
Thank you, Deborah.
You're welcome, my dear.
Sandy, this is Chris. To answer your question, and I think and somebody else has been bringing this question to me on the chat. If you guys did not get the Omni reduced fare card in the mail, it will be coming in the mail. They do bulk each time, so it does depends. But note, please keep an eye on your mail. At this time also, we are reporting that mail was stolen, but at the same time, the card will not work unless it's in your name, not anyone else's name. The card's the same program as your regular reduced fare, only works for one person. The card cannot be energized or turned on unless it's with you. That's why I gave you guys the link on the chat, as well as called omni.info. So I hope that answered your question, Sandy.
Thank you. I hope I get it by the end of the month. Because my husband already got his. That's why I was worried.
It's not just that. It depends how the mail. It's more the post office, not MTA. We already got a report some mail been stolen. The card will not work. And especially if the card is going somewhere else. It does have a tracker. It does track. So it definitely knows if it didn't go to your destination, means it was stolen.
Thank you, Chris.
I wanted to just let everyone know, if you find that you have mail that's being stolen, please contact your local congressman about it. And it's because that's serious, and they do take it seriously. Because I have directed many people to contact the local congressperson, and they've been able to work to see what's going on. So take care. You can take care of that way too. Does anybody else who wasn't here at the beginning have an announcement they'd like to make? Please raise your hand. And please also get the announcement in the chat if possible. Christopher, is there anybody else who's raising their hands?
At this time, there is no one raising their hand, or they're hiding under their something under their screen, which I'm just joking. But at this time, also, since no one else has any ideas or goals they want to 2025, it seems we'll just go the same plan like we always been doing. Housing, other stuff. Like we did. Ian too is just putting their announcements up, which that she mentioned earlier. On that.
Very glad to hear that. Very glad about that.
Yes, and just want to be very clear. Yes, Janet, do you have a question?
No, I put it in earlier, but I figured I would put it in again. Thank you.
Oh, not a
And I'm
problem.
sorry, my camera isn't working for some reason. It's not connecting, so I apologize. But I'm here.
No,
Okay, I'm glad
we definitely hear you and see you. I mean, well, let's just say we hear you.
You see my little character, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
worked. But let me just check. Miss James, do you have any announcements or any questions do you have? Miss James, can you please unmute and just clarifying, do you have any questions, or if you're an agency, can you have any announcements? I don't think so, Miss Grive. I don't hear anything.
Well, then guess what? We will end the meeting early.
Yes.
This way
but-
everybody can get ready to listen to what the governor said with the budget. And it starts this at 1:00. It's on the governor's page, so we will watch that, and also watch the one at 3:00 because it's very important. So with that,
And before we do go, and just the reason I put up the website again, and as Brian does his as well, we remind all agencies who are here, as well as parents, if you know you have an event, trainings, or any service openings you'd like us to put onto the website, please make sure you email us to that email address. The agencies who are here today, that's on the chat. You don't need to send it to me again because it's already in the chat box. So I will be copying and pasting that, but I will not be putting those in until the end of the week, because right now the website is on right now and the numbers are very high, and I don't like to mess up the website for traffic congestion. So I'm just making that clear as well. But I remind everyone that you see the barcode here. Use your cell phone, scan onto the website. We'll tell you all the meetings that are coming up, service openings, trainings, events, something new we've been putting up. I'm encouraging everyone to please do your part, and please remind them that our next meeting, as Ms. Grive has mentioned, will be February 6th. It will be a joint meeting of all the boroughs.
and it will be on Zoom.
It will be on Zoom. So please make sure you place close attention to that as well. All information has been sent out on email. I know Brian has sent it out on there. Ms. Grive, anything else you want to say before we end?
No, just also please everybody come Thursday to the legislative committee meeting. It starts at 12. Please come. It's very important. We all have to work together to advocate and to keep whatever services and improve the funding for the staff that works to take care of our children. Thank you.
As Lucina
And
is sitting down and enjoying her good seat over there, making me nice and warm. Everyone, please enjoy your day, and we'll hope to see you all on February 6th, and we'll hope to see you at the resource fair. Thank you, everyone.
I don't know.